So, at your table, make a secret sword hand, and I'll show you how you can do this. I'll do it this way. You breathe. We're going to do a figure 8, so you breathe up, in through your nose, and out. Figure 8, right? Everybody knows figure 8. Breathe in, exhale. Breathe in, exhale. Easy, right? Supposed to be. Supposed to be. Here's the thing. If this is hard, like when you're standing, I can do a bigger arc, right? Because I'm standing. I can get my body involved. I can do all kinds of cool stuff that helps. If you're sitting, you can do less. If this bothers your shoulder, hands, or anything else, small, small, small works. You thought I was going to say it, didn't you? So, you breathe in and you breathe out. And guess what? You can do this in here too. So let's try that. You can choose whether you want to do the secret sword hand Wei-Dan, or do you want to do it Nei-Dan? Do you want to do it in your mind, or do you want to do it together? All right, let's do it together. So just choose. Secret sword hand, I'm going to do it here. So you breathe in and breathe out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In and out. And in and out. Breathe in a sense of power, courage, and confidence. Exhale, worry, stress. Breathe in, strength, stability, confidence. Breathe out, worry, stress, fear. Breathe in, it feels good. Breathe out, you get rid of stuff you don't need. Breathe in, fill yourself with these feelings. Exhale, release things you do not need this morning. Breathe in, this feels better and better. Exhale, let go of worry, stress, fear, and anxiety. Breathe in and out. And in and out. And take your hand up and down. One more time. Up and down. Take a second. Take a little inventory. Self-reflection is a good thing. Take another 30 seconds with your chi partner. What did that feel like? What did you do? Talk amongst yourself. These are available online. You can get them for your workplace or your home. I would definitely do that. So, 2 minutes in sharing. What happened? What do you feel like? Ooh, lots of hands. Yes, ma'am.
Does it matter if you go left to right or right to left when you're doing?
For what you're doing, no. For other things, you can learn all sorts of things, and yes. But for what you're doing today, no. No, that's right. Yes, ma'am.
What's the significance of one hand?
Yeah, but what's the significance of one hand? Great. There are many one- and two-handed exercises in Chinese Qigong and Tai Qi. The semblance of one hand is that it symbolizes the single sword, the long sword in China, and so that's used with one hand. You can also put your other hand on it, but the exercise is one. There are many double hand exercises too, and double sword exercises as well. So this is just one. Yeah. Also, when you're learning, it's just easier to concentrate on one hand than it is two, because you're trying to actually, if you work your body into it, you're trying to figure out this whole thing. And getting it done with one hand is just easier to learn. Again, we're regulating the body. the breath, and the mind. So we want to give our conscious mind just enough to keep it busy, but not too much to overwhelm us so that we are not able to think and feel and understand what we're here for and what we're doing. So that's yes.
The right hand is your dominant hand. Can you use your left hand, or does that matter?
Yeah, another great question, right or left hand, dominance, does dominance matter? And in this exercise, I always say to learn it on both sides, because you will discover things about yourself on the left-hand side. So I don't know about, you guys, but I was born in the 50s, and I was born left-handed, and they made me switch to right hand, which I think was common at that time. Yeah, no, you're saying no, that wasn't common. Yeah, all right, I had abusive parents in the Midwest, I'll just say that now. Hello, my name is Dave, and I was beaten when I was younger. All right, so, okay, I'll just cop to that. All right, I was born in a family of religious people who beat me. All right, there you go. I'm out in the open now. Okay, so, yes.
I won't give you the consensus that we felt the pressure go to the shoulders and the neck.
Fascinating, that's great.
Watching you, and your shoulders were always
Yeah.
up. They weren't.
When you're doing something like this, you're raising your arm, and of course these upper traps go up. So one of the ways that you can do that is when you stand, and you can start moving in and you can start moving out, and you can do these kinds of things so that you actually have some motion. Now when you're sitting down, you can do that too. You just have an awareness, because what we're doing is we are not doing coiling. And if we were doing this class more, I would show you how to bring your body in like this, and then expand it like this, and then bring it in like this, and then expand it like that. That's another way to regulate the body to go along with the breath, and it would solve that. And it would show you another way to actually exercise your upper back, where a lot of people hold stress. So that when you take these breaths in, and then exhale, and then in, and then exhale, you can see that there's just a natural movement in the spine and of those muscles to stretch them out. So it's great. That's what we would. It's pretty natural for what we're doing, which is an introduction, but it shows you where we would go with that. So it's a great question. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a Tai Qi instructor.
Yay! Yay!
I never realized the significance of your fingers. He was so perfect and precise with his fingers, but you explained about like getting rid of the energy and then pulling the good energy in.
Yes. Yeah, you'll see, and thank you, because that's an insightful question. And the position of the fingers, when we do this for general teachings, we try to give general hand signals, but if people came from medical Qigong, like when I'm teaching asthmatics, it's important that we stretch out this index finger and thumb, because that's where the lung channel is for Chinese medicine, and all the exercises like this stretch both the lung, the upper lobe of the lung, and this finger. So your fingers, when you're trying to, the more precise you're trying to do, the more precise you need to be with your exercises, breath, body position, and mind. When we're doing something general, the less you have to do that. But again, just like this question, it points to the possibilities that exist for this, right? These are great questions. I love this audience. We've got to play again. Yes.
The hand didn't feel that natural in that position.
Exactly. Yeah, this is new for you unless you've been doing this for a long time. So what'll happen is one of my old fencing coaches, he was an Italian bronze medalist, and he was one of my first fencing coaches, told me that when I hold my foil, which felt odd, because the way that you hold an Olympic foil is like this. Nothing natural there. So the way to do that is, one, do it over and over again, like we were talking about before. But two, you need to hold this, he said, like a dove. You need to hold it so that it doesn't fly away, but not enough so that you actually crush it. And so when you do this, any of these hand measurements are really the same too. You want to hold this so that you maintain a certain integrity with your hands and all the things that we do with Qigong and Tai Qi and acupressure, but not enough to where you're actually constricting energy. And really that just comes with practice, because the first time you do something, there's no way that these kinds of things feel normal, because they're not. But if you were to practice them, and if you were to have other experiences, you would start to relax this. And you'd start to be able to take this energy, and when your figure 8 continues, you would be able to take your mind and place it 2 inches beyond your fingers, then 6 inches beyond your fingers, then a foot, then a yard beyond your fingers, so that your awareness, your breath, the imagery that you would use, you would start thinking about sort of drawing this giant piece of calligraphy in front of you, way out there, and you can put this out there as far as you want. And that's the power of these motions, is that you can see that if you were painting a picture, if you thought your mind was painting like calligraphy on that back wall, and I was starting from here and I splashed this up, and then I drew some more paint, and then I splashed it back up, and then I brought it back down, and then splashed it back up. Now my awareness, my mind, my breath is on that back wall. It is not on my pain, it is not on my loss, it is not on my grief, it is not on all the things that make my life miserable. It is on that back wall creating something beautiful.
These exercises, these things that you're teaching us, how often should one person like this here practice it? Every day, weekly?
Most of the time you'll see these practiced in cultures that use them daily, mostly in the morning, so they get their mind right, they get their circulation right. But I can tell you that I was on the phone last night with a patient who I had taught this to, and she was calling me because she was in an acute pain. So I recommended she call her doctor. They are going to see her today, an orthopedic. But we went through the breathing exercises on the phone, and she was able to do this at 8 o'clock last night because she needed it at 8 o'clock last night. So we got on the phone, we went through it again, and she was able to use this as one of the coping mechanisms. It does not replace the orthopedic visit that she's having as we speak, hopefully.
It's not a cumulative effect. The effect is momentarily while you're doing it.
Ooh, that's a great question. The question is whether it's a cumulative effect or momentary. That's fantastic. I think it speaks to choices and habits are cumulative. So as you go through every day and feel like you're energized, feel like your mind is in a good place, feel like you come from a positive place, that has a cumulative effect. As you feel that you're starting out the day in a good place, that your day turns out better than you thought, that your experience of a day turns out better than it thought, then that's a cumulative. I have a veteran that I'm working with. He's a veteran of Vietnam, and so he's in to see me first for chronic pain management, but then I taught him how to do a lot of these things because he can do them in a boat with a goat, and he needs them in a boat with a goat. So we've both agreed that it's not the level of pain. He's had 9 different neck operations, probably 4 or 5 different thoracic and lumbar operations apiece. So it's not that he has less pain, but what he's been able to do is experience his pain differently, take charge, feel like he's got a component of care that he can use himself. And that's helped him experience chronic pain in an entirely different way, enough to get off of many of the medications that were keeping him sleepy all day. And the Veterans Administration is trying to find ways to get our veterans off of opiates. So he's been doing that. They're paying for his acupuncture, and I'm teaching him how to do these things at home. He's now off of all opiates, all of them. And he's been able to do these exercises and feel much more comfortable, feel in charge. And he says, my experience of pain is much more in my control, and that makes me feel better. So he has chronic pain, no doubt. You would too if you had all this. But unlike other people, he can do something. He feels in control. He has an intervention that works so that he experiences his life and pain differently. And that is a difference maker. And that's a cumulative, because he had to learn that and experience those benefits. I'm going to move through some of these things quickly because we're having a good time. I love this audience, by the way. Thank you so much for showing up. So, you've read this about Tai Chi and its whole body movements. You're moving your whole body. There's lots of things that we could do here, Tai Chi, that we've done together, that would take up this entire space. We don't have that here, so I wanted to show you the sword hand. And then the learning tools is what I like about Tai Chi and a lot of these things. I talked about keeping your conscious mind busy. So whether you are a visual learner, an auditory learner, or a kinetic learner, this will work. Because you've got something to visualize, you've got something to hear, and you've got something to do. So lots of people have a dominant way of learning. I'm a visual learner. So this Neigong stuff works really well for me because I can visualize. That's a skill that I've had for a long time, and I learn things visually. I'm the person that says, show me. Show me. And so I like these exercises because all three learning styles, you can learn this. Some of the research that they're doing in Tai Chi, you'll see, they have studies that are talking about helping depression with more than prescription treatments alone. This is exactly what we're talking about, and Tai Chi and their medication. This is exactly where integrative medicine is going. It's integrating. It's not alternative. When I started in the 80s, it was alternative medicine. I didn't believe it. My first practice, we had a doctor from Dr. Gutile, if anybody knows him, from Mass Mental Association. He was really one of my first contacts. I met him in Tai Chi too. So we shared this thing. We had physicians on board at my second clinic in Brookline. So I've always been of a mind that the way to do this is an integrative approach. Then that word came out, and I said, okay, finally, good. Dr. Weil says integrative. Okay, good, I'm on board. I've always done it, since the 80s. So I think this is what we're going to see. This makes sense, and it just makes sense. Cloud hands. I love cloud hands. So let me show you another thing that you can do with your hands. Just where you're sitting, take one hand in front of you, one hand on the tabletop, and you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and let's turn to the right. Then one hand goes down and the other one comes up. Now the right hand or the other hand is on the tabletop. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and turn to the other side. These hands pass each other. Breathe in, one up, one on the tabletop. Breathe out, turn to the side. You can do this seating, right? This is clouds. Think of your hands as light and fluffy as you breathe in and you breathe out. It's light, it's fluffy. Giant cotton balls. Your hands exchange each other. You breathe in and you turn. They're sort of rounded, right? Your cloud is a round cloud. And you breathe in. Yes, a cumulus cloud. Thank you. I'll go this way so that your hand is here if you want to do this. All right, you breathe in and you breathe out and you turn to one side. You breathe in as your hands pass each other. Now this is in front and this is on the tabletop, and you exhale as you turn. I'm turning more because I'm standing. Breathe in. See where my hand is here? And you exhale.
So one flat.
Exactly. Breathe in.
It's kind of like this.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So while I'm not sure I can do this, I guess I can. All right, I just tried that. I can do cloud hands. The idea behind this is if we were in a place where you can move while you do this, right? Now I'm adding another component. Just to give you an idea that these things can be done. And you could see that while you're paying attention to rooting in the ground, you're paying attention to sending your breath down, you're sending your attention to bringing in all the good life that you want, you're getting rid of all the things that you don't. You are not paying attention to worry, stress, anxiety, pain, loss, grief, fear. So it's a distraction, but at the same time, you are building habits. You are training your mind, you are training your body, and just like the veteran, you are learning how to use your mind to help your everyday life. You're learning how to train your body, your breath, and your mind in order to face the challenges that you must face, and use it as another tool in your toolbox.